Thank you, Chairman Reed. Admiral, thank you for your service and the men and women you command for what they do every day to defend the freedom of this country. My first question is about Taiwan. I think you agree that we've got to prevent Communist China from controlling Taiwan. It's a strategic necessity for the United States, and the loss would devastate our ability and the ability of Japan to counter China's aggression. Does that you agree with that, right?
Yeah, as a combatant commander out there in the Indo-Pacific, I have an obligation to, support the Taiwan Relations Act, and in a geostrategic sense, I think it's critically important to the United States' global status. Yes.
Sure. I introduced the Taiwan Invasion Prevention Act to end the U.S. Strategic ambiguity about Taiwan. I think it's time for the U.S. to state clearly that we're not going to allow Communist China to invade and subdue Taiwan, and that both Taiwan and the United States, we've got to invest the right resources, weapons, training, and dialogue to ensure that General Secretary Xi understands that he's not going to gain anything. So what are your thoughts on that?
Sir, I wake up every day, trying to assess the dynamic nature of the geostrategic environment. And, frankly, we ought to be thinking about these things every day. I would submit that we've got more than 40 years of the strategic ambiguity has, helped keep Taiwan in its current status. But these things should be reconsidered routinely. I'd look forward to the conversation.
Do you feel comfortable that we're both the United States and Taiwan are moving forward in a manner that they're going to be able to defend, and with our support if there was an invasion?
I think it takes our continued support, Senator, and key to that is consistent and persistent arms sales to Taiwan in order for them to continue their capability going forward.
How much effort or time do you put into Indonesia, and can they be a check on Communist China's aggression?
I'm sorry, can you say the question?
On Indonesia, can they be much of a check on Communist China's aggression?
I have cooperative efforts with Indonesia in the maritime especially, and a deepening relationship. We do a number of exercises together. I would say Indonesia is very concerned about Chinese activities, particularly when they infringe in and around the waters of Indonesia going forward. And I think that's Indonesia is an opportunity for the U.S. to deepen our relationship with China is just one of the things we need to be thinking about together.
How well is the ability to communicate being done with our allies there, whether it's Taiwan or South Korea or Japan? I mean, if like what Senator King was talking about, the chance that there would be an inadvertent mistake, and is there ability to, even on our side, share information well enough that to help prevent something?
I think we've proposed in our 1251 assessment for the PDI a multi-partner environment, which is IT technology, that I think would raise the surety of the cybersecurity of what we transmit, back and forth between our allies and partners in the region. It would enable us to, as well, not only to protect information, but deepen collaboration on, key geostrategic and military issues like this as well. Yes.
How well has Huawei or other companies, Chinese companies, been able to infiltrate the communication systems in these countries that we rely on as allies, that they would have an impact are we giving China the ability to be able to shut down communications pretty easily, which would impact our own ability for our military to discuss things with our allies?
I mean, that's certainly something that we have to be on the lookout for, and we've been deeply engaged over a couple, 3 years about the vulnerability that Huawei equipments would present in any kind of allied structure. And to be frank, given what I know of the threat, I would want to withhold any information sharing or equipments that would rely on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator.